three little pigs were very, very happy that day because the mother pig has packed the most delicious foods in their baskets for them to have a picnic by the lake.
Be careful, okay? Get home before it's too late, kids.
Okay, Mommy.
The little pigs went excitedly to the lakeside. They were both eating and having fun. However, they were unaware of the wolf watching them hungrily through the trees.
Not one, not two, but 3 pigs!
The pigs, after eating and drinking, took a peaceful afternoon nap. Taking advantage of this, the greedy wolf slowly approached them. With a thin twig, he tickled the ear of the youngest pig.
Go away, fly!
Gurky was pushing away the fly with his hand, but after a while, he was tickled again. Finally, he opened his eyes and saw that it was a huge wolf that tickled him.
Wake up! Wolf!
When the other 2 pig brothers woke up and saw the wolf in front of them, they ran quickly and left the picnic place. The wolf wasn't in such a hurry to catch the pigs, as he thought they wouldn't be able to get very far with those tiny feet anyway, because the wolf's feet were huge. The little pigs saw a huge white palace just ahead. They thought that if they ran inside, the wolf would never find them. Thus, they entered through the magnificent garden gate of the palace. However, the owner of this palace was the beautiful Snow White. While the princess was chatting with the hunter in the garden, she noticed the pigs entering. Although the hunter immediately grabbed his bow and arrow, Snow White stopped him. Instead, she wanted to help the little pigs and went after them. "Pigs, wait!" But the pigs were so frightened when they saw the hunter that they didn't even notice that Snow White was calling out to them. While they were worrying about where to hide, they came across 3 doors in 3 different sizes. The little pig Gurky went through the little door. This was a toy room. There were all kinds of toys everywhere. The middle pig, Torky, rushed through the middle door. This room was a book room. Everywhere was full of books. And their older brother, Porky, entered through the biggest door. This was a dining room. Inside there was a huge table filled with various kinds of food. Meanwhile, the wolf, following the pig's trail, managed to enter the palace without being seen by the hunters standing in the garden. He came in front of the small door as he was walking through the palace corridors, smelling.
I know you're here, Piggy! Open the door, or I'll huff and puff and blow the room down!
The little pig Gurky, when he heard the wolf's voice, he hid among the toys in fear.
No! You can't do this!
The wolf huffed and puffed. The little door snapped open. Gurky started running around among the toys.
Help!
Just when the wolf was about to catch the little piggy, Gurky ran out of the room and ran to Torky. Torky took his brother in immediately. When Gurky told his brother that the wolf was after them, they both hugged each other in fear. The wolf came to the front of the middle door this time.
I know you're in there, piggies! Open the door, or I'll huff and puff and blow the room down!
This door is bigger! You can't blow it down like that!
So the wolf huffed and puffed. And thus the middle door was also opened. The pig brothers started to run away from the wolf, jumping around. The wolf was about to catch them both when Torky and Gurky quickly got away and ran to their brother Porky. Porky let his brothers in and closed the door tightly. He told his brothers that they would be safe here, that the wolf did not have the strength to break down this great door. This time, the wolf came in front of the big door.
I know you're in there, piggies. Open the door, or I'll huff and puff and blow the room down.
The pigs hid under the big dinner table in fear, and so the wolf huffed and puffed. But the big door did not open. The wolf huffed and puffed again. The door just stood there intact, not destroyed. Just as the wolf was about to kick the door with all his might, Snow White appeared right next to him.
Hey, Wolf! Leave the pigs alone and leave my palace now!
The wolf was very angry with Snow White, who wanted to expel him from the palace. He took off his pointy nails and walked towards the princess. He thought he'd eat her first and then the pigs. Just as the treacherous wolf was about to pounce on Snow White, the hunter came in. Sensing the danger, the hunter fired his arrow at the heavy palace curtain over the wolf's head. The curtain has fallen on the wolf with a bang.
Ah! Help! What a heavy thing this is! I can't get rid of it!
No matter how hard the wolf tried, he couldn't move because of the weight of the curtain. Taking advantage of this, Snow White opened the big door with her key and went to the pigs hiding under the table. She told them that they had caught the wolf and that they would send him far away from the palace. The pigs came out joyfully and hugged Snow White.
Woohoo! Thank you! You're our hero! Hero Snow White!
The hunter of the palace entangled the wolf with ropes at once and left him in the farthest corner of the forest. And this is how Snow White and the three little pigs' friendships that will last forever began. And the wolf, in the furthest corner of the forest, thought about how his greed had hurt him.
Rapunzel. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a lovely couple. One day, the woman gave her husband the good news that she was pregnant. Her husband was so glad about the news that he said he would do anything for her. And one day, she told him that she was longing for some crunchy lettuce. If I can't eat some of that delicious lettuce from our neighbor's garden, I won't get any rest. So her husband went into the neighbor's garden to fulfill his wife's wish. But the poor man did not know that his neighbor was a very dangerous witch named Camilla. No one knew, but the witch was 150 years old. To look young, Camilla could only touch golden things, so she covered everything in her house with gold. She covered the plates, spoons, and forks, bottles, lamps, even the chairs on which she sat. Everything was covered with gold. And that evening, there was a knock at the door. It was the neighbor who had come to ask for some lettuce for his pregnant wife. Camilla said that he could take as much as he wanted from the garden, but under one condition.
If your child has golden blonde hair, I'll take it.
The man didn't know what to do, but he foolishly agreed and prayed that his child would not have blonde hair. But a few days later, his wife gave birth to a beautiful baby girl with golden blonde hair. They called her Rapunzel. Camilla somehow knew the baby would be born with blonde hair. So she took the baby from her parents and brought her home. The witch took very good care of Rapunzel. She combed her blonde hair, which grew a little longer every day. Camilla never wanted her hair to be cut, because she would take long strands of hair and cook it in a magical cauldron and turn it into gold.
My magic turns her long golden hairs into gold. I'm set for life. Yippee-skippy.
Deep in the forest, Camilla used her magic to build a huge, tall tower where Rapunzel would be trapped and her hair would be safe. The tower didn't even have stairs inside. It was just one small room with one small window. Rapunzel grew up in this room alone for 18 years, except for Camilla's visits. When Camilla came to visit her from time to time, she called on her from below.
Rapunzel! 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 Let down your golden hair.
Rapunzel would let down her long braided hair down the window, and Camilla would hold on to it and climb up into the tower. Mother, why doesn't this tower have stairs? Why can't I step on the ground and play with flowers and animals?
My beautiful golden-haired girl, this is the only way I can protect you from the evils of the world. There are many dangerous animals out there, and all kinds of mean creatures. If something were to happen to you, I wouldn't survive.
One day, Rob, the handsome prince of the country, who was born on the same day as Rapunzel, took his horse for a ride in the forest. The prince heard the singing in the forest and listened carefully.
This voice is such a beautiful voice.
And followed the sound of the mysterious voice until he finally arrived at the bottom of the tower where Rapunzel lived. When she sang at the window of the tower, he immediately fell in love with her. He glanced around for a door to the tower, but could not find one. And just then, Camilla also arrived at the tower. So the prince hid behind the bushes because he knew of her reputation as a wicked, mean witch.
Oh no, that's Camilla, the evil witch. What is she doing here?
Rapunzel! 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 Let down your golden hair.
Rapunzel let her long hair down for Camilla to climb up. The next day, the prince returned to the tower, but when he arrived, he tried to imitate the witch's voice and called up to the tower.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair.
Rapunzel thought the voice sounded odd, but let her hair down anyway. Prince Rob quickly climbed up the hair, curious to find the voice that had sung so beautifully.
Oh, what a hairy climb.
Rapunzel was frightened when she saw him. Who are you? How did you get here?
I'm Prince Rob. I thought you might be in trouble because of the witch and all, and no stairs.
Oh no. I'm Rapunzel. I don't know you. My mother says strangers are dangerous creatures. Oh no. Get out of here.
Don't worry, I'm not a dangerous person or creature. I simply heard your beautiful voice and wanted to see what the witch was up to. So I guess I'm here to rescue you.
The prince's words softened Rapunzel's heart, and she began not to be afraid of him anymore.
Miss Rapunzel, would you like to go down off the tower with me to smell the flowers, take a walk in the forest, and meet beautiful animals?
Rapunzel wanted to discover the life outside for years. So she accepted the prince's offer straight away. I've got an idea that can help both of us go down the tower. When the next day arrived, the evil witch Camilla arrived at the tower and was about to call for Rapunzel when she saw her long blonde hair hanging down from the top of the tower.
I guess she saw me coming and let her hair down already.
Camilla started to climb up to the top of the tower. And then she heard sounds of a horse. She thought someone might be nearby, but she didn't bother any further and climbed on because she wanted to reach Rapunzel as soon as possible. When she arrived in Rapunzel's room, she was shocked. Rapunzel wasn't there anymore. She had cut her hair off and run away from the tower.
My gold! My gold is gone! No! No! Rapunzel!
Rapunzel had cut her hair and tied it to an iron on the wall of the tower, so she and the prince could climb down together. Camilla, alone in the tower, desperately touched Rapunzel's cut hair.
No. No, 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 no! It doesn't work anymore because the hair is cut off. The hair must have roots to turn into gold.
In the meantime, Prince Rob and Rapunzel arrived at the prince's castle, and the prince told everything to his father and mother, the king and queen. The king said that he had heard the name Rapunzel from an old farmer and his wife. So the prince immediately took Rapunzel to the old house of the couple who had said they had lost a baby named Rapunzel. As soon as her poor mother and father opened the door and saw Rapunzel, they recognized her. "My daughter, my dear daughter, you found us! The evil witch took you away from us."
It has been so many years, but you're finally home. We are your real family.
Rapunzel was very happy to meet her real family. And what do you suppose happened to Camilla, who was left in the tower with no gold?
I'll find you, Rapunzel. I will hunt you for the hair that turns into gold.
In the land of Princess Sunshine, who had been asleep for years, there was an evil black fairy. This black fairy was living in her dark castle with her only friend, the bat Blackie. One day, when the black fairy looked at her magical ring, she saw that the sleeping beauty Sunshine was awakened by a brave prince. The black fairy was so enraged that she was surrounded by green flames.
Calm down, Black Fairy. This is not the time to act in anger.
I'll make Sunshine regret opening her eyes. On the other hand, the prince gifted Sunshine a white horse. This unicorn, which they named Luna, also had magical wings. The princess immediately got on Luna's back and started flying in the sky.
Oh, this is great! Higher, Luna! Let's fly higher!
Seeing Sunshine's happiness, the Black Fairy was enraged.
Calm down, Your Majesty. You are very strong.
Even when the Black Fairy was a little fairy, she used to harm and hurt other good fairies. She would throw mud on one of them and make fun of the other's hair.
Your hair is so ugly, it looks like deer antlers.
One day, when she damaged the wings of Fairy Hyacinth with an evil spell, Fairy Hyacinth went immediately to the king and complained about the Black Fairy to him.
That's enough! Soldiers, trap the Black Fairy in the farthest, quietest, and most desolate part of the forest!
Thus, the Black Fairy spent her days alone in the depths of the forest. So much so that colorful flowers did not bloom around her. And no animal came to that remote, desolate corner of the forest. Every day, she was looking for ways to get out of the forest. But the forest was like a labyrinth, bringing the Black Fairy to the same place wherever she walked. One day, when she was wandering alone, sad, a bat suddenly appeared over her head.
You're a fairy, aren't you? What are you doing alone in this desolate part of the forest?
The king imprisoned me here for doing evil to other fairies.
What kind of evils, for example?
The bat was overjoyed when the Black Fairy talked about the harm she did to the good fairies, because he believed that evil is the greatest power.
If you want to be strong, you are on the right track, fairy. If you accept me as your servant, I will grant you mysterious spells.
Mysterious spells? Like spells that can save me from this situation?
Yes!
The bat handed the Black Fairy a ring. The moment the Black Fairy wore the ring, black clouds gathered in the sky, and lightning struck the trees, and laughter echoed from the ring. When the Black Fairy looked through the ring, she saw how strong and powerful she would be in the future. Thus, she accepted the bat as her servant. Years followed years. The Black Fairy, thanks to the power of the ring, built a wood-carved castle in that desolate land. And the bat Blackie began to live with her in this castle. When the Black Fairy saw through her ring the news that the king and queen had a child, she was furious that she was not invited to the kingdom like the other good fairies. That day, she made a promise to herself that she would not fail to do all kinds of evil to the princess. Blackie, I want to make the princess regret opening her eyes.
I have a plan in mind, Your Majesty.
Blackie explained the plan he had in mind to the Black Fairy in all its details. When the sun disappeared and the stars filled the sky, the Black Fairy appeared in Sunshine's dream with the power of her ring.
Wake up now, princess. All the birds are waiting to be rescued.
You must help them.
What? How? What happened to the birds?
The Black Fairy explained that all the birds in the sky were affected by an evil spell, and that they could not fly because they were surrounded by dry branches. Only you can save them. Come on, wake up and run into the forest. Sunshine woke up in fear at night. She set out to save the birds without telling anyone. When she arrived in the forest, she indeed saw the birds spellbound on the dry branches of a huge tree. She was about to try to climb the tree when the black fairy appeared out of the mists. You're the fairy in my dreams! Did you do this to the birds? But why?
If you don't go into the hollow of the tree, the birds will never sing or fly again.
Sunshine agreed to enter the tree to save the birds. But as soon as she entered the hollow, the branches of the tree grew and imprisoned the princess inside.
Oh, Black Fairy, I did what you asked. Free the birds now.
Birds? Oh, what birds?
At that moment, the birds in the branches of the tree disappeared in a second.
You see, neither birds nor other animals can come to this desolate forest, Princess. They were all scams. Only you will stay here forever, alone.
Sunshine did not know what to do in the face of the Black Fairy's treacherous trap. Although she tried very hard, she could not free herself from the branches. When morning came, the prince, who could not find Sunshine anywhere, was very fussy. Seeing him in this state, the white horse Luna came to him.
Jump on my back. We can find Sunshine by following her scent.
Luna flew into the mysterious forest with her majestic wings. When she realized that she had smelt the princess, she immediately landed on the ground. But the silence and darkness in the forest scared them a lot. A little further on, they saw Sunshine trapped in the hollow of a tree.
Sunshine! My princess! Don't worry, we'll save you!
My prince! Oh, and Luna!
Luna spread her colorful wings and sprinkled magic dust all over the tree. Dry branches broke off one by one and fell to the ground. Thus, Sunshine escaped from the hollow in which she was trapped.
Oh, I thought I'd never get out of here. Thank you so much.
The prince and princess returned to the kingdom with Luna. Both Sunshine and the prince knew that the real power was never in evil, but in love and friendship. The Black Fairy, on the other hand, never admitted defeat. She was still chasing new plans to disrupt love and friendship.
The story of Little Mermaid Aria. Once upon a time, in the very deep ocean, there was a world that no one knew about. Dolphins would sing. Jellyfish would dance. Little colorful fish would swim. And in the deep waters was a glorious underwater kingdom. The sea people in this kingdom lived in peace with all the underwater creatures. It was ruled by King Poseidon, who loved his daughters so very much and always kept them in the kingdom. Aria was the youngest and did not understand why he never let her go anywhere. He told her there were dangers outside the kingdom's gates. She thought he must mean the men and creatures living on the land.
Aria, someday you will be old enough to wear your own crown. But until then, you must stay here in the kingdom where it is safe. I forbid you to leave.
But I'm so curious about the people and animals on the land. The people on the land have no respect for the life in the sea. They throw trash in our ocean, and we can't trust them. So you need to trust your father, Aria.
Little Mermaid Aria did listen, but the more she thought about what her grandmother said, the more curious she became.
I just cannot wait for my grown-up crown. The people living on the land might be just as kind as we are.
And little Aria thought up a plan in order to sneak out of the underwater kingdom. She thought about her friends, Big Whale Willie and Little Dolphin Dolphy, because they could go in and out of the water kingdom whenever they wanted. At the gate to the underwater kingdom, the swordfish guards moved aside to let Dolphin Dolphy and Whale Willie out into the ocean. They were free to come and go as they wanted. But once they were out of sight, Whale Willie opened his mouth wide, and out came his stowaway, the little mermaid, Aria. And just like that, Aria was out on her own and swam right up to the surface of the water. For the first time of her life, she felt the wind, saw the sunset, and heard the seagulls.
This is an amazing feeling.
Here's my whole deep blue sea. Everything is fun, friends with me. The king called me the Little Mermaid, the very best daughter of the king of the sea. Just look around, you will see the joy, a beautiful life, and the ocean roar. Just look around, you will see the joy, a beautiful life, and the ocean roar.
Just then, Aria heard music coming from across the water. She dove into the water and swam towards the sound. Then she saw a huge boat and fireworks over it.
A boat! Come, Dolphy, let's get a closer look. Aria, stop! It might be dangerous.
Her friend Dolphy had warned her, but Aria didn't listen.
Aria, stop!
She swam up next to the boat, where she could see the king of the land and his son, Prince Edward. They were celebrating the prince's birthday.
A prince! Aria, you shouldn't be here. Those soldiers could be dangerous. We should go back home now. They might see us.
The prince started playing his flute on the bow of the ship.
He doesn't sound like a bad person.
Aria sang along with the tune of the flute with her beautiful voice. The prince heard her voice and looked around, surprised.
Whose beautiful voice is this?
Be careful, Aria. They're going to see you.
Far, far away, King Poseidon's evil sister, the sea witch Vega, used to live in the palace of King Poseidon, but had done bad things and was banished from the beautiful underwater kingdom. The day has come, the daughter of King Poseidon and a human. I sent thunder and storm and lightning, waves to overturn the boat and sink the prince. Because of the sea witch's spell, the waves began to break apart the prince's boat.
No! The boat is sinking! We need to help them!
Aria dove into the waves, swimming through the debris of the sinking ship all the way to the bottom of the ocean. She saw the flute of the prince and grabbed it. Then she saw the prince sinking to the sandy ocean floor. She took his hand and swam as fast as she could towards the land.
Wake up! Please wake up!
The prince slowly awakened and was shocked to be alive.
You're alive!
And to see a beautiful red-headed mermaid next to him. Aria heard a dog barking and realized she was on the land. and quickly dove back into the sea. The king and his soldiers and a young lady were searching for the prince, hoping to find him on shore.
A girl saved me. Father, I couldn't see her face, but I feel like I've heard that voice before.
Meanwhile, back in the ocean, Arya returned to the underwater kingdom. She still had the prince's flute and couldn't stop thinking about how handsome he was. Her father had been looking for her, and when he saw the flute, he knew that she had gone up to the surface of the ocean.
I warned you, Arya, and you didn't listen to me and ran away from the safety of the kingdom. You should have waited.
But the prince would have drowned.
What? A prince? You left the protection of the kingdom, Arya. You must trust me so that I can protect you from danger. I forbid you to leave the underwater kingdom.
King Poseidon left. He was upset and deeply worried about his daughter's heart. But Arya was still determined to return to see the prince again, and so she made a terrible mistake and left her father's kingdom again to seek out the evil witch Vega in the dark part of the ocean. Vega's two-headed guard snake was watchful around the witch's sea palace and saw the little mermaid coming.
Vega, the king's daughter approaches. It's time to take revenge on the king.
I knew this would happen. She has a wild, rebellious heart. Let her in, Snake.
Arya was a little frightened, but wanted to see the prince, so she went in to ask the witch for help. Vega agreed to help, but demanded something valuable from the little mermaid.
I will prepare a magical potion to turn you into a human. You will walk on the land and dance with your precious prince. But in return, I will take your beautiful voice.
My voice? But without my voice...
Mermaid shrugged and accepted the evil potion because she was foolish and her heart wanted to fall in love with the prince.
But remember, the magic potion will wear off in 3 days. Unless you get the prince to fall in love with you. Otherwise, you will change back into a mermaid and never remember your prince or your father ever again.
Arya was so foolish and drank the magic potion. Then she started swimming up to the surface of the sea. And as she got closer to land, her tail started to disappear, and instead, she had human legs. Her friend Dolphy saw her and quickly came to help her.
Arya, you've never had legs. You need to be careful.
Little Mermaid managed to get to the shore with the help of Dolphy. Prince Edward was already there, looking for the girl who had saved him.
You seem familiar. Have we met each other before?
Arya did not have a voice, so she just nodded and gave the flute back to the prince.
Yes, we have met. You must be the girl who saved me from drowning. And that voice I heard while I was playing the flute on the deck, what is your name?
Arya tried to explain what happened to her.
Oh, you cannot talk?
But she could not speak. So the prince decided that she must be a different girl, since the girl he remembered had a beautiful voice. Still, he wanted to help this desperate girl and took her to his palace. At the Land Kingdom's castle, the prince's father was preparing for his son's wedding to another young lady. Arya watched from far away and was sad that she could not marry the prince. The days passed, and she could not talk to the prince. Arya knew the potion would wear off soon, and she would lose all her memories. Arya thought it was impossible for her to make Prince fall in love with her without her voice. Then the third day arrived. Arya was so sad. But just then, something unexpected happened. Her mermaid sisters came out of the sea, and then her grandmother.
My dear grandchild, we have come to rescue you and break the witch's evil spell.
Then the waves rose up in a giant splash, and Arya's father, King Poseidon, came out of the water.
Arya, my beautiful daughter, you went to the very danger I was trying to protect you from, but I have rescued your voice in this seashell. I have broken the witch's spell, so you will have your voice, and you will always remember us.
The king of the sea pointed his trident to the seashell in the hands of the grandmother, and the spell was broken. Her voice returned back to Arya.
My voice! Thank you, my dear family. I love you so much. No!
Whale Willie rushed the little mermaid to the prince's boat. The prince and a princess from another kingdom were about to be married. But suddenly, the prince heard something and stopped. It was Arya's beautiful voice again. After seeing Arya on the whale, Prince Edward jumped into the water to go speak with her.
It was you! I knew it! You are the girl who saved me.
My name is Arya.
And so it was that Prince Edward called off the wedding and made peace with King Poseidon's ocean kingdom. Arya was the first mermaid who ever learned to live on land as a human and as a mermaid in the sea. And eventually, she and Prince Edward became friends and married and lived happily ever after.